The old man shouted loudly, "Don't hit him on the back of the head. That could be fatal. This has gone too far." The arena floor cracked from Kai's powerful strike where Cenu had fallen. The entire arena went completely silent, as if everyone's breath had stopped. Cenu lay motionless in the middle of the arena, with Kai standing over him, without any expression, as if this brutal attack was nothing to him. The old man's heart sank. His face also became grim. He muttered, "This is too much." Fear was clearly visible in his voice. "He's just a high schooler. Cenu might not survive this." Miho, who was standing nearby, he spoke in a very cold manner. "You said one thing right," he said, interrupting the old man's concern. "Kai is truly a monster. Exactly as I had heard." The old man looked at Miho confused. He could not understand what he wanted to say. At the arena, Cenu still hadn't moved. His head was still buried in the shattered floor. Kai stood staring at him. Thoughts were running through his mind. That was it. What happened to this guy? Kai felt a bit strange when he attacked with an elbow. A moment before that, Cenu himself had hit his head hard on the ground. Why did he do this? Did he want to hurt himself, or is he playing some twisted game? Then suddenly, Cenu's voice rang out from the ground. Light but sharp. "I was just trying to avoid an attack on your occipital lobe." Cenu spoke, his voice weak, but clear. Call it fear or quick thinking. This was the best option I had at that moment. Kai's eyes widened. He watched as Cenu slowly began to get up. Still, he was not ready to accept defeat. Cenu said, "Even if your head was made of steel, if your elbow had hit it directly, it could have caused real damage." Kai stood in disbelief. How is this kid even getting up? Is this the effect of some doping drug? But he remembered that Cenu hadn't taken any doping. In fact, his previous opponent had taken an overdose and was also killed. Then who is setting it up? The old man was also a stunt. What is happening? How did he get up again? He muttered in disbelief. Even the always composed Miho briefly raises an eyebrow. A slight surprise was visible on his face too. He quickly said, "It's fine. Don't worry about it." But deep inside, Miho was also starting to doubt himself. Cenu is strong. Yes, but something is wrong. He keeps getting up again and again as if it doesn't matter to him. Cenu was now fully standing in the arena. Even though he was breathing heavily, determination shone in his eyes. Kai stared at him in surprise. He said, "Hey kid, don't push yourself too much. If you just pretend to be unconscious, I will accept it. Don't hurt yourself unnecessarily." Cenu took a deep breath. He said this while looking directly into Kai's eyes. "You're still running your mouth." His tone was sharp and defined. "You just can't keep quiet for a second." Kai was genuinely confused. Has this child's brain been damaged by the impact, or is he just extremely stubborn? But one thing was clear. This fight wasn't over yet. And Cenu wasn't about to back down. Cenu took a steady breath. He returned to his fighting stance. His eyes were locked on Kai. He said with a slight smile, "Where has your attitude of making big claims gone? You know I can do this all day." His line was dripping with pure confidence. His spirit was still unbroken. Kai spoke with his cold, emotionless expression. "You can talk as big as you want. But what's the point of fighting when you know you can't win? Why are you wasting your time and energy?" Then, making a mocking gesture, Kai opened both his arms wide. Exposing his chest, he said, "Come on, let's make it interesting. Come with full force." "I won't defend myself." Cenu hesitated for a moment. Confusion flickered across his face. But then a different kind of sternness came into his eyes. "So, this is the real thing, isn't it? You were ignoring me for so long because you thought I was weak. That was fine, but now you have become so overconfident that you are openly mocking me." Kai's expression was still stone cold. He said, "I am the strongest, and I have traveled to hell to prove it. I have fought in the rings, won championship titles, but no one was strong enough to satisfy my hunger for a fight. I had to move on, had to find something else." Taking his point further, Kai said that when your sole aim is to become the ultimate warrior, you take the biggest risks. He said, "I had joined a gang where people would kill for cash. Then I went to an organization where opposition was eliminated without any thought. I have knocked down every person who came in my way. I am the ultimate survivor. The strongest. Cenu confronted Kai boldly. His spirit was not broken at all. He said sharply, "You think you have seen everything, but this is different. Now the real fight will begin." Cenu charged towards Kai at full speed without a single word. His first was a full-force clinch. Kai gave a small laugh as he watched him, his arms still wide open. No defense was taken. "It won't make any difference today," Kai said in a mocking tone. Cenu gathered all his strength and sent his punch straight to Kai's gut. The impact of the punch was so powerful that ripples spread throughout the arena. Even the ground shook. The crowd was absolutely shocked. Everyone was watching in disbelief. There was only one question in everyone's mind. Why did Kai let himself get hit? And how will this affect the fight? But Kai stood there. He did not move at all, as if that powerful punch had no effect on him. His cold expression was still the same. He looked down at Cenu and said, "I already told you this is useless. A mere high schooler doesn't have the power to hurt me." But then something strange happened. Kai's eyes suddenly started flickering. A slight look of confusion appeared on his face, and then a feeling which he had not felt for a long time. It felt as if something had broken inside him, like a piece of glass had been shattered from inside. Cenu didn't waste a second giving up. Seeing the opportunity, he landed another powerful punch to Kai's side. This time, Kai's stoic expression changed slightly. He felt that hit. Shock rippled through his entire body. He had never felt such pain in all his years, and it shook him to his core. Kai hadn't even grasped the situation when Cenu threw a swift kick at his head. But this time Kai did not repeat his mistake. He blocked the kick easily, his face twisted in anger. "How dare you?" Kai roared. His voice was filled with pure fury. He countered with a vicious punch. The punch was so powerful that even a rock would have exploded. Cenu sensed the sheer power of Kai's punch and tried to dodge. But the speed was so crazy that he could not survive. Kai's elbow lightly brushed against Cenu's chest. Still, the force was so much that a deep bloody cut was made. Cenu felt searing pain but still held on. He did not let the pain show on his face. The atmosphere in the arena was now pure electricity. Everyone was on edge. The tide of the battle had now turned. Both fighters had understood. Now this is going to be a brutal and relentless fight. Cenu's face tensed. He realized that he hadn't dodged Kai's last attack cleanly enough. So, he quickly created distance. An unnatural silence fell over the arena. Both fighters stared at each other. No one was moving. This tension was broken by Kai's cold voice. "You're not bad. You've had your chances. Do you want to show anything else?" Cenu's voice was low but confident. "Yes." A slow, confident smile spread across his face, catching Kai briefly off guard. Cenu said, tugging at the fabric of his toned shirt, "Remember something you said earlier?" And then he tore his shirt. His body opened up completely. A body that was proof of pure hard work and struggle. The audience was stunted. Especially the old man. The man in glasses who never expected a high schooler to have such a strong physique. There was a shift in the atmosphere. Cenu said in a steady voice, looking Kai in the eye, "I'm guessing I'm not going to get any free shots now. Right?" Kai's eyes narrowed and he gave a slight nod. "You are strong. I will give you that. But you're still a long way from winning me over." With his respectful warning tone, suddenly, without any warning, a blue glow spread around Kai's body. Energy started pulsing through his body. His strength had now reached terrifying levels. "Now I am at 100%, Kai announced. His form now looked monstrous. The aura was so heavy that Cenu started feeling the pressure. But still, the confident smile on Cenu's face didn't go away. His eyes were steady. He was ready to face Kai's full strength. The man with old man glasses on the side was confused. He said softly, "Why is he still smiling?" Amanda, watching the fight carefully, said softly, "It will be fun." His anticipation was increasing further. The old man shook his head in disbelief. "Interesting, this is going to be a slaughter. Kai is using everything. This will be a mess." Amanda said in the dark, "Fight is not just about power. When your opponent recognizes you, especially someone like Kai, when the real fight happens." The old man frowned. What's the use of recognition when you're going to lose? Amanda's voice softened a little. It's about fighting. I have also felt it. When people underestimate you. But when they finally take you seriously, that moment is the real victory. On the sidelines, Miho also said in a calm voice, I get it. People used to doubt me after seeing my size. But when you force them to take you seriously, when you see that fear in their eyes, then you realize that all the hard work was worth it. For the first time, a small smile appeared on Miho's face. The old man was still a little unsure but muttered, maybe I understand now, but can Cenu really survive Kai's full power? The tension in the arena became even heavier. The stakes were now sky high. Both fighters stood their ground. Now the question was, would Cenu be able to withstand a full might of Kai? Of the fighter who never lost when he went all out. Cenu broadened his confident smile even more. His energy surged again, and he said I'll go first, and then charged towards Kai at full speed. His fist was filled with pure determination. But Kai still didn't move. He effortlessly blocked Kong Cenu's punch with one hand. Only one thought came to Cenu's mind. What is this guy made of? His punch seemed to hit a concrete wall. Kai attacked hard with his other hand. Cenu somehow managed to block it, but the force of that one punch sent him crashing to the ground. The entire arena floor shook. Despite defending, the impact was so strong that Cenu was left breathless. His body was already bearing the toll of Kai's overweening power. But Kai's attack didn't stop there. His eyes locked on Cenu's weakened stance, and he moved with lethal precision to finish. He landed a powerful knee strike that ripped through the ground and shattered the arena floor. Cenu barely managed to avoid the attack by rolling himself out of harm's way. But still a deep cut formed on his back. The entire crowd was stunned by this sheer power. Even just a close-range attack can do that much damage. Miho, standing on the sidelines, also looked carefully and said softly, he did escape it, but not completely. The fresh cut on Cenu's back was enough to prove how deadly power is hidden in every attack of Kai. Cenu panted heavily, trying to catch his breath. Sweat was dripping down his face. One thing echoed in his mind. The power gap is huge. For the first time, fear struck Cenu. It was now clear to him that Kai wasn't just powerful. He was a complete monster. He stood before him like a big mountain. Kai looked at him coldly and said, now you can see the gap between us. No matter how hard you try, it is impossible. Then why are you continuing the fight? Cenu's gaze deepened. A new determination shone in his eyes. He said in a low but defined voice, don't make me laugh. You are not the only monster here. I too have been treated like a monster my entire life. Cenu bent down as he said this. He gathered all his strength and pounced on Kai with a powerful elbow strike. But Kai, while remaining calm, moved his body a little and dodged the attack with ease. Cenu misses his move and loses his balance. But he was not one to give up. He quickly composed himself and struck again for a brutal headbutt. A wicked smile spread across Kai's lips. Now it's my turn, he said coldly. The two headbutt at the same time. Their bodies collided hard, but Kai came out faster and stronger again. Cenu's entire body jolted in shock. His knees buckled and he fell to the ground. Kai stood over him like a towering figure and said in a cold voice, the fight is over. Your attacks are very weak. Stamina is also gone. You are not worthy of fighting me. But instead of submitting, a small laugh escaped Cenu's lips. That laughter slowly started gaining strength. It started echoing throughout the arena. Kai's face changed. Irritation was clearly visible in his eyes. He said angrily, why are you laughing? Cenu's smile grew even bigger. He replied in a steady voice, if the fight is over then why am I still untouched? Kai's anger exploded. Intense blue energy began to emanate from his body. His power was at its peak again. His aura crackled like electricity all around him. Even the air became heavy with his energy. But as Kai moved for the final attack, he noticed something strange. Cenu's body was also glowing now. Faint light at first, but then it became brighter with every second. Cenu forced himself to get up despite the uncontrollable pain. His aura, which had been subdued until now, was now matching Kai's intensity. There was complete dead silence in the arena. Everyone's eyes were fixed on those two fighters. Now Cienu's unexpected power was pitted against Kai's overpowering strength, and no one could predict what was going to happen next. Cienu's entire body was pulsating with an intense fiery glow. Red aura was emanating from his body, and the atmosphere had become completely intense. The old man in the corner of the ring shouted in panic. Because of this intense atmosphere, my blood and sweat are flying. But his voice was completely drowned out by Cienu's rising energy. Now a terrifying light burned in Cienu's eyes. A storm of memories had arisen within him. Fighting, I've always hated it. He remembered all those days when he would return home brooding and battered and see the disappointment in his mother's eyes. Everyone considered me a monster. Maybe he was right. He thought I also sometimes accepted it myself. Old pains resurfaced. But this time something different had erupted in this arena. Some dark, some wild. This place is driving me crazy. He felt a strange laughter emanate from within him, slowly echoing throughout the grounds. Like a creepy hollow echo. What is this feeling? And why can't I stop? Cienu's eyes were fixed directly on Kai. His grin was growing uncontrollably big. I have no choice. I have to fight through this. I have to win. Kai also moved at lightning speed as Cienu's wild aura triggered. He came in with a powerful kick, aiming for Cienu's head. But now something had changed. Cienu's instincts had suddenly awakened. Performing an impossible move, he twisted his body like a spring in the air and dodged Kai's attack. In midair, Cenu reached out his hand and grabbed Kai's face. His fingers started digging into Kai's skull. Kai hadn't even finished his thought when Cenu delivered a brutal headbutt to his face. Bone-cracking sounds echoed through the arena. Kai staggered back. His mind had gone blank. How is this possible? He has become so strong. But Cenu didn't stop. Using headbutt's momentum, he hit a mid-air somersault and landed with both feet. The impact was so powerful that Kai hit the arena wall directly. Cracks formed on the wall. The audience held their breath simultaneously. Pure shock was visible on every face. Kai groaned in pain, trying to get up. His chest was beating rapidly. Even breathing had become difficult. How is he moving like this? His mind was filled with panic. But before he could think, a furious punch came towards him at lightning speed and hit him directly in the face. He was pushed against the wall again. The impact was so strong that Kai didn't even get time to react. Kai caught Cienu's next punch, gritting his teeth. His grip was strong. Was holding the wrist tight. Now I have caught it, he thought, but when his eyes met Cienu's, he saw something that shook him. A cold fire-like resolve. A chilling grin spread across Cienu's lips. With a sharp twist, he freed his hand, knocking Kai off balance and pulling him directly into striking range. Without wasting a moment, Cenu started raining furious punches. Every punch was faster and more dangerous than the previous one. Each hit landed on Kai's body like a thunderstorm. Kai's vision began to blur as his defenses were pierced. Only one question echoed in his mind. What is happening? How can someone move so fast? Didn't even get a chance to think. Cenu seized his moment and with a primal roar, landed his final punch full force into Kai's stomach. The entire arena shook with the impact. Shock waves spread everywhere. Kai jumped into the air screaming and landed hard on the ground. For the first time in years, Kai felt real pain. Such crushing pain as he had never imagined. This is not possible. Kai's mind was trying to find answers. Has Cenu been given a doping drug? No. How can someone become so strong in such a short time? But Cenu didn't even give him a chance to breathe. His glowing aura became even more intense. He charged towards Kai again. With a terrifying grim look on his face, Kai yelled. His voice cracked with frustration. Don't you ever get tired? But now Cenu was completely immersed in his new power. He did not respond. His first was now moving like lightning. Kai blocked some punches. But Cienu's relentless attacks were like cannonballs. This is absolutely insane. Kai was wondering how human could move like this. Without wasting any time, he started raining hammering punches on Kai's ribs and back. So fast and heavy that Kai couldn't even think of countering. Kai's mind was in a panic. With each punch, a new wave of pain was surging through him. And then Cenu landed a full-powered punch on Kai's jaw. The force was so intense that Kai flew through the air and fell to the arena floor. The entire crowd went into stunned silence. A high schooler did it. This shock started resonating in the minds of the spectators. The boy who was once considered powerless. Today he had dismantled the most feared fighter. Kai lay absolutely still on the ground. His body was completely bruised and broken. A pool of blood had formed around him. He was staring at the sky without blinking. What the hell just happened? Kai had lost to a student. The battered one was beaten and bleeding for the first time in years. Cenu, on the other hand, stood upright, breathing heavily. His red aura was now slowly fading. But the same wild intensity still burned in his eyes. He looked around at the arena. The old man said he had done it. He had made the impossible come true. But a faint voice echoed in some corner of his mind. The arena had gone completely quiet. Every eye was fixed on Kai's unmoving body. The old man standing in the corner stammered. Is he alive? He hasn't even moved. So much blood. Amanda nodded slowly. The face was stern. That's not Kai's blood. It's Cenu's. The man's eyes widened in surprise. What? Amanda said that all the blood on Kai was from Cenu's fist. His hands are worn out from punching Kai's hard skin. Cenu was breathing raggedly in the center of the arena. He looked down at his fist. The skin is completely torn. Bones were visible at some places. What is this? He thought, wincing in pain. Everything hurts, looks like the muscles have been ripped from the inside. His vision started to blur. And in disbelief he saw Kai getting back up. The girl's voice in the VIP room was trembling. How is Kai getting up after taking all that from Cenu? That's impossible. The bald man leaned forward and spoke. Eyes were completely focused on the fight. Kai is using his skin harnessing ability as armor. It's not just protecting him but damaging Cenu as well. Look, his fists are completely torn up. Even the bones are exposed. The girl's heart started sinking. You're saying Cenu can't beat him? We're going to lose this fight. Kai slowly stood up in the arena, breathing heavily. This pain. I have never felt anything like it. What is this kid made of? Why won't he back down? His eyes were swimming. He blinked hard. I am at my limit. I am not able to see anything. I have to end this now. Kai took a deep breath. Cenu looked into his eyes and raised his hands in a fighting stance. Let's beat this kid one way and another. With new determination, Kai charged towards Cenu. But Cenu dodged. His instincts were now even sharper. Kai's kick missed and Cenu, clenching his broken fist, punched with all his might. How's he still this fast? Kai was thinking about blocking the punch, but the impact sent a wave of pain through his entire body. But Cenu felt even worse. His fists were completely destroyed. Every punch was causing more damage to him. Blood was dripping from his nose. The arena floor had turned red. I can't feel my hands. Only pain or my hits even landing. Kai sensed Cenu's frustration and snorted. Come on kid, let's tear each other apart. With a dangerous glint in his eyes, Kai jumped back into the fight. By devoting myself completely. We will keep going until nothing is left. Both fighters unleashed a relentless barrage of punches. No one was ready to back down. Cenu's fists screamed in agony, while Kai's skin acted as a brutal shield, turning every strike against Cenu. Cenu's body was broken from exhaustion. His fists had become moist. The pain had become unbearable. His thoughts started becoming blurred. I feel like I'm having a brain slip. I can't hold on much longer. I was in disbelief at that time. This kid, how much pain can he take? He is taking everything without hesitation. For the first time, doubt entered Kai's mind. But that doubt vanished the moment he felt something strange. A sensation he hadn't felt in years. What is this? He looked at his fist. Eyes wide. My strength, his punches were starting to weaken. Old man was now yelling at him to stop. No more time to waste. Kai's eyes fixed on Cenu's exhausted body. He took the decision at that very moment. I will end it now. A glint appeared in Kai's eyes. He had seen the perfect opening. There it is. Gathering his remaining strength, he pulled his leg back and gained momentum for a devastating final blow. His low kick collided with Cenu's leg. with a bone-cracking force. The sound echoed through the arena like thunder, and for a second, Kai felt as if his soul had been ripped from his body. Cenu stumbled, losing his balance. His eyes stared at the ceiling. I am falling. Kai didn't waste a single second. This is it. He pulled his leg back again. Ready to deliver the final crushing blow, not just once, Kai tried to launch a powerful attack a second time as well. But this time Cenu did something that no one had even imagined. Instead of dodging or blocking the kick, he clashed it with his own leg. The old man was completely shocked. Cenu countered that attack directly with his bone. Such a move creates extreme pain, and everyone watching the fight was thinking that Cenu's bones would have been crushed right now. Those two strong kicks had knocked Cenu to the ground. This was the worst situation he had ever been in. He clearly saw that the flesh on his leg had been torn apart by Kai's doping-powered kick. Cenu clearly felt that this had become very serious. His body was now unable to even move. At that moment, Kai threw another kick. This was his final attack. Absolutely ruthless. But then something happened that shocked everyone. Kai gets a leg break of his own. This scene was so unexpected that the entire arena was stunned. The fighter who always broke the bones of others now had his own bones broken. Kai couldn't understand how this happened. His skin was reinforced. Then how is the fracture? And not just his legs, the joints of his arms were also already damaged from the beginning of the fight. Cenu already knew that Kai had very tough skin. But from inside, he is also a normal human. So, Cenu risked everything. He sacrificed his leg flesh so he could use his naturally hard bones as a weapon, and the move worked. The impact shook Kai's entire body and his bones cracked. Yun was shocked. How is this possible? Whereas no external wound was visible on Kai's body. Kim explained that his bones were already damaged. He could not bear the impact. Cenu's bones are as hard as steel. Kai attacked him as if with a bare hand. His skin may be reinforced, but inside he is still a human being. And with that, the winner was crystal clear. Cenu let out a loud victory shout. The old man who was watching this fight was filled with joy and surprise. Cenu was truly a miracle kid. Even after facing such a brutal fight, he was still standing. Miho was now completely convinced. Cenu is definitely hiding something. No normal person can have this much power without doping. On the other hand, the boss of the underground arena was monitoring the entire fight. He asked, "Is this boy really fighting without doping?" The professor confirmed that yes, this is what is written in the report. And as soon as all the matches of the first round are over, he will test it again just to confirm. Now the man was determined to know everything about this boy. Who is he? Where did he come from? First step, trace the identity of Cenu's parents. Because such power was not normal at all. On the other hand, in the hospital where Cenu's mom and dad were admitted, a man silently entered the room, due to which Cenu's mom woke up. She thought it must be hospital staff. But no, it was two men in suspicious black suits. Back at the arena, Cenu was covered in injuries after the brutal fight and was taken to the recovery room. When Yun saw Cenu's condition, he started doubting whether Cenu would be able to win the next round. During the physical test turn, Yun and Kim were secretly planning to inject doping into Cenu without his knowledge. If Cenu wins his next fight, he will become a potential candidate for the top championship. But his upcoming opponents will be very powerful. Yun was a little hesitant because according to the rules, doping can be given only if the fighter gives consent. But Kim explained to him that this would just be a test on Cenu's body to see if there would be any reaction or not, and even if there was any effect, there would be no visible change on the body, so he would not be caught. He believed that Cenu's body was different from normal humans and doping might not have any effect on him. If this was proven, the boss would decide whether to keep Cenu as a fighter or not. Cenu was lying on the bed in the recovery room when a man quietly came with a syringe. Meanwhile, Yun and Kim were discussing in the fighting arena that according to the rules, one more win would have put Cenu in the top 16, where only high-stakes fighters were allowed entry. Yun doubted anyone would bet on injured fighter Cenu, but Kim pointed it out. Cenu has already won 2 fights without doping and people are already paying attention to him. Till date, no one in the history of the underground arena has won 2 fights without doping. If Cenu wins the 3rd match spectacularly, everyone will be watching him. But Kim believed that now he should also pay attention to other fighters, because it is almost impossible to win without doping. And Yun could find new fighters who weren't currently under any company. But Cenu will know his limits, and if he wants to save his mom and dad, he will have to use doping. Then Yun took a dangerous decision. If Cenu's body doesn't respond to the doping, they will have to discard him. Cenu had no idea that Kim had already planned everything, and if he turned out to be useless, his parents' help would also stop. The whole plan was going smoothly because Cenu was so busy in fights that he was not able to know anything about his parents. He will just keep fighting until he loses or dies. Yun was also hesitant because Cenu's power was enough without enhancements. Kim felt that Yun was risking his life with this plan and was fully prepared to help his boss remove his brother so that he could gain control of the company through this underground arena. This was the thrill for Kim, finding the strongest fighter who rose from the underground world. So, he chose to side with his boss so that he could pick fight candidates for himself. Yun had no idea that the person he trusted for so long had such a scary personality hidden inside him. Within a short time, the agent came back with the doping result, and the result was shocking. Cenu's body was not responding to doping, which was very rare. Kim was absolutely sure now. Cenu's body couldn't absorb doping, and it was quite disappointing, because that boy had extraordinary bones. Yun has now also decided to stop Cenu's parents' treatment so that everything can be resolved quickly. That means now he wanted his parents also to be removed from the way. After a while, all the fighters were gathered in the fight lobby. Seeing this, Miho was convinced that the selection of 62 fighters had now been finalized. The old man was a little worried because he hadn't seen Cenu anywhere yet, and he thought that maybe Cenu hadn't fully recovered from his brutal fight. On the other hand, Amanda liked this pause because according to the rules, the next round will start only when all the participants recover. As Miho watched Amanda stretch her legs, he was shocked because her legs seemed boneless. Everyone in the arena was at risk of injury. Many times, the fighters even died. These 3 somehow survived and made their place among the 62 winners. Miho was surprised to see that friendly old man's hidden power. Eventually, his hands would become so big that he could easily overpower his opponents. The old man laughed to himself and said, "Man, I didn't think the effects of doping would match so perfectly with my muscle power." Not just the old man, Miho now began to understand that Amanda was also not an ordinary fighter. One special thing about her was attracting everyone's attention. She did not use her hands in the fight. But till now Miho has not been able to understand how Amanda's opponents fall, because her moves were so fast that it was difficult to understand. When Miho asked her the secret, Amanda smiled and avoided answering. "I will not tell you now. Who knows? Tomorrow you may become my opponent." On the other hand, Yun had returned to his office. He asked Kim if anyone could recommend a suitable candidate. Kim immediately forwarded a file. It said Ryo Ichika, the same fighter who was going to face Cenu in the next round. This was perfect for Kim because it would allow him to get rid of both Cenu and his family. Meanwhile, in the recovery room, Cenu woke up and panicked, calling out for his mother. The problem was that this wasn't a dream. He actually heard the agents who had come to secretly give him doping injections talking among themselves. If his body does not react, then his parents will be removed, and he will also be killed in the fight. Now Cenu decided that he had to leave immediately and save his parents. On the other hand, in the office of the director of the underground arena, the director asked the scientist what did they find out about Cenu's body. The scientist said, "As we suspected, this boy is extraordinary. Doping has no effect on it. His bonuses are 10 times denser than humans. This is practically impossible. Like some rare gift from God, and not only this, Cenu's recovery ability is also abnormal. This is not normal healing, but a kind of regeneration." As soon as the scientist gave the report, the boss director's reaction was totally unexpected because it was really unbelievable. Till now they were doing research on physical regeneration doping, and now they started feeling that Cenu's body could perhaps become the key to their entire research. The director then asked if Cenu's parents were saved so he could be kept under control. But the scientist replied embarrassedly that someone else had taken them away before his people could reach there. Cenu, on the other hand, was in a panic. He quickly opened the door so he could escape. But as soon as he opened the door, a girl was standing in front. She smiled and said, "Hi, I'm Sungyeon," but Cenu didn't have time to talk. He had to leave urgently. Then Sungyeon threw the bomb. "You don't need to look for your parents because I have taken care of them." Meanwhile, Yun receives news that Cenu's parents have disappeared. Kim guessed that this might be the work of the people from the underground arena. Yun thought that it would not be a right decision to interfere in the matters of the arena people. So, he ignored it. Then Yun asked, "Have you contacted the next fighter?" Kim replied nonchalantly, "Don't worry. All fighters can invite VIP guests at any time. You just have to pay the money, whatever the zone may be." Meanwhile, when Cenu hears the news about his parents, he explodes with anger. Swangian tells him to shut up. If you want to save your parents, running away would be a wrong decision, but Cenu was adamant, "I will kill whoever comes in front of me." Then Swangian told the shocking truth. "The one who brought you here now wants to break all ties with you and also wants to remove your parents." She also reveals that the loan shark that Cenu beat up at his house is now looking for him. Swangian tried to impress him by visiting him in person without any bodyguards so that she could talk to him directly. Cenu asked in surprise, "Who are you? And why are you doing all this?" Sungyeon smiled and said, "I just need one thing from you." Although she was young, she was one of the 16 VIPs who had special permission to enter the underground arena, while other companies could only watch the live broadcast. Now she has made it clear that the people targeting Cenu's parents are not going to stop. If Cenu is thinking of running away, he will only put his family in more danger. According to Sungyeon, there is only one way Cenu and his parents can escape. Cenu has to keep winning, no matter how many dangerous fighters come in front of him. She said that she is staking her own company shares and is planning a strategy to bring down both her stepbrothers. If Cenu keeps winning fights, she can gain full power of her dad's company. She can deal with her brothers and even deal with loan sharks with money. But Cenu had a question in his mind. What kind of deal could be made in such a place? Swangian explained that this underground tournament has its own rules. VIPs and fighters have to adhere to their deals. If anyone breaks it, he is immediately eliminated so that the reputation of this underground arena is not tarnished. She also reminded that if VIPs don't choose Cenu, he will be automatically eliminated. That means both of them needed each other. But Cenu wasn't one to trust so easily. For him, all these rich people were just out to exploit him. Swangian had no physical proof that his parents were with him because everything except clothes was taken away upon entry into the place. Still, she confidently said, "I know secrets about your parents that even you don't know. Things related to your genetics." Hearing this, Cenu was genuinely shocked, as he himself didn't know so many details about his family's past. Just as he was about to ask more, the door opened, and time was up. Before leaving, she whispered in his ear, "I'm risking everything to save your parents. You don't need to run away. Just close the deal. Fight and keep winning." At the beginning of the scene, we see that suddenly the door opens loudly and both of them turn towards it in shock. A guide drone was entering the room. Cenu remained stunned. The 4 words of Swangian silenced him completely. For the first time, he had nothing to say, caught between disbelief and a faint hope. Then the drone stopped in front of them and said in its own voice, "It's checkout time." And then she left. Cenu just stood there. Their conversation echoed in his mind. Every word, everything was going around in his mind. Like everyone is pushing him to trust her. He was trapped. No one could be completely trusted here. But now he was faced with a decision that could either save or destroy his family. He was feeling the weight of that pressure. Scene now shifts to Fighting Ward's room number 10. The 5-person room shifted where Cenu's roommates were gathered. Each fighter stood with their guide and the old man watched the prize money rankings on a big screen. He announced to the room, "After winning the last round, all of your rankings have gone up significantly." As the rankings flickered on the screen, the old man's eyes landed on Cenu's ranking. He said with a slight nod, even as Cenu came forward. But his injuries hampered his position in the prize pool. Miho, standing nearby, said he is still in recovery. Right? The last fight must have been brutal. No VIP will bet on an injured fighter. Just then the door opened and the guide drone announced player Cenu has returned to Fighting Ward's room number 10. Cenu came in. Everyone followed the drone and everyone's eyes were fixed on it. The old man was the first to greet him. Your condition seems better than expected. There was a slight relief in his voice. Cenu cast a bitter glance around the room and said softly, "You seem to come out of all the fights without a scratch." There was a hint of disappointment in his tone, which confused the old man. "What do you want to say?" Cenu's eyes were still fixed on the ground. "I got hurt badly in my last fight. You all are skilled, powerful, and dangerous fighters, and I am doubting myself whether I am weak in front of you all." His voice was trembling with frustration. The hands were clenched into fists. The old man and Amanda looked at each other. There was a mix of anger and determination in Cenu's body. "Whatever happens, I have to reach the round of 16. If I don't reach there, the danger to my family will increase," he said, desperation clear in his voice. He turned to the old man and Amanda. "Please help me. I want to become stronger. I am ready to do anything." The old man was watching him, a little shocked and worried. Just as he was about to say something, Cenu cut in. "Tell me, old man, am I not trainable? Am I not worthy of being here?" Amanda broke the silence. There was authority in her tone. "You need an ultimate move." Now both Cenu and the old man looked at her with curiosity and intensity. Amanda looked at Cenu with sharp eyes. No fighter dominates unless they have a signature technique. And in this world where we're fighting literal monsters, a lethal move is essential. She came closer to him. "Do you even know what your specialty is? Cenu? What could be your ultimate move?" Cenu was in the stun. His eyes widened. "My specialty was," his voice onshore. "I do not know." The old man crouched beside him, inspected his shin. "How about a calf kick?" He was thoughtful. "Use your shin bone." Cenu stared at him, processing ideas in the mind. The old man said, "I have trained many fighters, but very few have the leg control and power like you. In your fight, your leg bone took a full-force slow kick from Kai and you still stood. This is exceptional bone strength." Cenu remembered his fierce clash with Kai. The memory of each brutal hit came alive within him. He slowly nodded and said, "I trust the strength of my bones." There was a bit of confidence in his voice now. The old man stood up straight. His tone was more animated now. "Calf kicks are no longer the same, Cenu. Now it has become more sophisticated and honestly more deadly. If you master it, you can knock down your opponent in a single strike. A move that can save you at the right moment." He gave Cenu a demonstration of the calf kick, showing precise stances, angles, and forces. "It's not just a matter of brute strength. Technique is everything," the old man explained. "When this kick is executed with proper form, the impact is devastating." Cenu came to the stands, absorbing every detail. Taking a focused breath, he delivered a powerful calf kick to the wall, so loud that a sharp crack echoed through the room. The old man's eyes widened in surprise. Then a grin spread across his face. That sound made him laugh and shake his head. "Listen, you have a natural touch for this. I think you understand." But just as they were sharing a moment of satisfaction, thunderous thunders suddenly echoed through the walls. The whole room shook. The old man's face darkened. Worry was clearly visible on his forehead. Where is this sound coming from? Heavy thuds echoed down the hallway. The entire fighting ward was filled with his voice. The scene shifted, revealing the source behind a closed door. A figure was executing moves with deadly precision. Every strike was fierce, intense, and full of power. His name is Ryo Ichika, and this is the same guy who is going to be Cenu's opponent in the next round. Ranked 15th in the prize pool, he is a living example of lethal skill and raw strength. His presence was terrifying in itself, and his brutal training was a reminder of what fighters awaited him next. The scene returned to the fighting wardroom number 10, filled with tension. The old man said urgently, "Cenu, if you knock your opponent out with a perfect calf kick, fights can end quickly. without unnecessary brawls. And if you reach the next round injury-free, your prize pool ranking will also increase. More eyes on you means bigger stakes, bigger rewards. Before Cenu could respond, Menon suddenly appeared behind him. Cenu jumped back in shock. His face was in shock. Menon then said, "This won't do." Menon's face was deadly serious. He looked at everyone in the room. "Serious? You all haven't understood yet?" He stared at everyone with disbelief. "Didn't you guys notice that Cenu already has a special move?" the old man asked, puzzled. "What are you getting at, Menon?" Menon stepped forward and pointed a finger at Cenu. Menon said again, his head but a glint in his eye. Cenu's look how many brutal headbutts he took in his fight with Kai, and yet he stood like nothing happened. "That's no small feat, I'm telling you. Cenu has the toughest skull I've ever seen." Cenu's mouth dropped open, realizing how closely Menon had observed his fighting style. Menon's eyes narrowed, with an unsettling enthusiasm. Menon said again, "I want to test your skull, Cenu." He stepped forward. But Cenu instinctively stepped back, trying to create distance. The old man immediately intervened, raising his hand to stop him. "Hold on. A stronger headbutt can also damage the attacker. This is no small gamble, especially against the monsters in this ward." Cenu shook his head, remembering the fight with Kai. "If I keep using my head as a weapon, I risk brain damage. Maybe. Worse than that. I might not even be able to clear 2 rounds. Menon's face fell. Disappointment and frustration were evident in his expression. Menon said again, "That's a strange thing to say, Cenu." Intensity shone in his eyes. "What do you think? Is anyone fighting here without risking their lives? In this arena, everyone knows the stakes are between life and death. You think you can get ahead without pushing the limits?" The entire room fell silent. It was as if Menon's words had dropped a stone on everyone's head. Cenu's heart began to pound. He realized that no matter how much of an advantage he had, if he couldn't face those risks, it would all be for nothing. Menon ran his finger across his throat, saying, "If you hold back, you're 100% guaranteed dead." That chilling gesture hung in the air, striking everyone's heart. The old man gritted his teeth, but he didn't deny Menon's words. He could. He knew it too. Menon was absolutely right. As brutal as it sounded, Menon gave the old man a steely look. Leaning closer, he said, "You have no position to worry about Cenu right now." The old man was startled, clearly shaken by Menon's words. Menon stepped forward, a grim expression on his face. "Your turn is next, isn't it? And your opponent is Minsu, rank number 9. He's not someone you can take lightly." The weight of his words hung in the air, and a faint wave of worry crossed the old man's face. The scene shifted to the dimly lit control area, where the fighting ward director was checking Minsu's stats on a digital pad. "This guy's doping level is terrifying," the director muttered, scrolling through the data. Behind him, in a dreary row of ports, fighters were suspended, half resting, half in an experimental state, including Kai. The director looked at his subordinate, a doctor, who respectfully stood next to him. "It's good you brought him here," the director said, glancing at Minsu's stats. Dr. Han bowed and said, "Thank you. It is only because of your kindness that my son was able to receive this treatment and be brought here to the fighting ward." The doctor's thoughts wandered as he bowed in respect. He started remembering that dark night which had changed his life forever. He remembered how he had rushed home that day, apologizing to his son for being late, and then he froze in front of that scene. Han was lying on the ground. His weak body had lost the strength to get up. The muscles of the hands and legs had completely melted, ruined by a rare degenerative disease. Minsu whispered softly. Looking up, I fell. I am not able to get up. Help me. A wave of helplessness ran through the doctor. Tears filled his eyes. When he sat on his knees next to his son. Being a doctor, he had always saved others. But he could not do anything for his own son. Minsu's condition worsened over time. Every day his symptoms increased, and each symptom broke the doctor's spirit. Just when all hope seemed lost, a mysterious message arrived from an unknown man who introduced himself as the director of the fighting ward. The doctor had no other option left, so he pushed aside his doubts and reached the address. Upon reaching there, There was the entrance of a normal-looking building in front of him. Inside there was a dark, scary staircase leading down. His heart was trembling, but he moved ahead for his son. At the end of the stairs, he found himself in a clinical room, where roses of glass pots were kept, in dimly lit spaces in which people were suspended, in some unknown experimental process involving tubes and wires. That sight was like nightmare. But for the doctor, there was a twisted glimmer of hope in it. He saw how the front lineup the vials were put together. A mix of life and death in every capsule. A list on a desk contained the world's most powerful names. Famous scientists, leaders about whom the doctor had only heard in the news. The doctor's fingers trembled as he scanned the document. It was scary, but a strange hope also shone through. Perhaps this was his son's last chance. Just then the director came in, his face smooth and his eyes as calculating as a hawk. "Well, doctor, I think you understand what we're dealing with here," he said with a small smile. He extended his hand and said, "This is your chance to save your son and do something monumental. Join us. You'll get all the resources, and we'll take complete care of your son. Consider this a collaboration." The doctor's mind raged. A part of him screamed, "Don't trust this man." But another part of him, broken by his son's pain, was ready to listen. Tears filled his eyes, and he froze. Caught between duty and desperation, terror finally overcame hope. He turned and ran. He reached his home without stopping. He burst through the front door and called out for his son. But what he saw tore at his soul. Minsu, with his frail, bruised body, broken by disease, was trying to hang himself. The doctor grabbed Minsu tightly and pulled him down, holding him tightly, crying himself out. Minsu whispered softly, "Please, Dad. It hurts so much. I can't go now." He couldn't live like this. The doctor understood at that moment. The fight was over. He couldn't bear to see his son's pain any longer. The very next day, he returned to the hospital and accepted the director's terms. There was no turning back. The man who had once sworn to save life had now given birth to a monster who was none other than his own son. The scene snapped back to the present. Minsu was standing in the arena corridor. The sound of a buzzing drone echoed. Fighter Minsu's drone mechanically announced, "You may enter the arena now." The heavy doors opened with a roar, and he stepped forward. His expression was cold, completely unflinching. Inside the stadium, the old man stood ready. His stance was steady. The drone's voice echoed through the arena. Match between Old Man, Park Woo-sik, rank 22, and Minsu rank 9. Begins now. As soon as the drone fell silent, both fighters exploded simultaneously. Minsu moved with dizzying speed. His leap almost. It was instantaneous. Before the old man could even fully react, Minsu's fingers shot forward like blades and pierced his right shoulder with brutal precision. The old man's eyes widened. A wave of pain ran through his body.